And we are now getting some breaking news on the same story that we are tracking from the valley. As per army sources, we are learning that search operations are currently ongoing and the search area right now has been expanded. We are also learning that additional troops have been sent to the site where this encounter really took place, and there was a firefighting last evening at about 9 p.m. When it all started, and that also resulted in the loss of lives of our brave hearts. My colleague Akash Sharma is with us on this piece of breaking news that we are presenting for our viewers. Akash, search area expanded and more and more troops being sent out to the valley. This is some progress, but this also suggests that they have got specific location of the terrorists.
Griha, this input is somewhere suggesting that the whole focus is to get and neutralize those terrorists, who are hiding there. And as far as contact is concerned, so last night at around 9 p.m. contact was established, and since then we haven't heard really that whether or not, the contact has been established once again. But definitely, I had a word with several officials who are there on ground, in fact, and they are suggesting that more and more troops have been sent on the location. We are using, drones and all other equipments, techniques and all other things. And when we talk about Doda area, so this area is full of dense forest. So this is possibly, becoming a challenge for the forces. But the search operation is ongoing, and in fact, the whole focus and the effort is to grab, in fact, and neutralize those terrorists who are hiding there.
Right, Akash, I request you to stay on with us. Let's actually take a look at why there is a spike in terror incidents in the Jammu region. Remember, we have been telling you how this area has been fairly quiet for few years now, and there was no problem as far as terror infiltration, and leave aside this encounter and this one-on-one with security forces of the terrorists. But right now, Jammu area is the case in point. Let's find out some of the possible reasons that the terrorists are retreating into the forest around the mountain range. Now, this in fact talks about a tough terrain which is difficult to be mapped. The topography is acting as a natural hideout for the terrorists, and hence this particular place is being used more often than not by the terrorists. Also, we are learning that this natural hideout also offers a vantage for these terrorists. What they do is they are at the upper reaches, they are able to track army movements, and that also is a natural advantage, and that's why these areas have been used. Jungles are interconnected. They allow the aids to escape. Remember, we have also spoken about how overground workers are pressed into service by many of these terrorists, and they also are responsible for the escape of the terrorists, and they also help them to actually chart out a possible route of escape. The docks vacated by the civilians are used as the hideouts. We are talking about the huts of the Bakarwals, of the nomads, which are vacated to go ahead for a better climate and because of the changing weather. Those places where they used to stay, which are called docks, are used by these terrorists to actually go ahead and stay for a while they undertake these operations. Intelligence gathering becomes very, very challenging. Remember that one case in point of what happens to our intel, why are our brave hearts having to lose their lives because of this ongoing encounter, because only last week we had seen what had happened in Kathua, where the terrorists had in fact launched a grenade on an army convoy on a vehicle, and they are using sophisticated equipment. Why and what is happening to the intel is the big question. Pakistan trying to expand footprint beyond Kashmir. Remember, this is also a serious question. That is something that we are also learning as intelligence gathering not only is becoming challenging, we are also learning of Pakistan's huge employment of terrorists, and also giving them ample equipment and sophisticated weapons to carry out and launch these guerrilla attacks on the Indian army. If we take a look at reason number 7, this is a possible attempt to challenge normalcy narrative. The normalcy narrative that's been set up, it's not just a narrative. Actually, the valley has been really, really quiet. It has been away from these terrorist activities, especially the Jammu region. But to disturb that very normal stance of Jammu and Kashmir and the normal environment, these things are being done. This terrorism bid is carried out. Reason number 8, counter-terrorism grid in Kashmir very, very strong, and it is an attempt to breach that grid, and that's why we're seeing more and more such operations. Also an attempt to activate border from Uttar Pradesh to Punjab. Remember, it's not just restricted to Jammu and Kashmir. An activation of border from Uttar Pradesh to Punjab, there is an attempt to do this as well, and that also becomes a serious security lapse